So something that might have escaped your attention this week during the United States Grand Prix is the feud between Fernando Alonso and Liam Lawson. Lawson's been back in Formula 1 for just one weekend, and already there's been a bit of an incident involving him. Now, this is not going to be a criticism of either of the drivers, really. This is just going to be a rundown of what is going on here, because this might have missed you. I mean, to be honest with you, I heard the radio from Alonso during the sprint race, calling the AlphaTauri, the RB, an idiot over the radio, and I'm like, what's going on there? What's happened there? But that was just the start of it, really. And I've already done a video about Liam Lawson this weekend. It's gone down really well, surprisingly, in New Zealand. Not really surprising, that's a joke. But yeah, just going over how impressive his drive was during the Grand Prix. But one man who won't have been impressed, and has loads of people have commented saying as much as well on the video on YouTube. One guy that will not be really thanking him this weekend is Fernando Alonso. He will not be impressed with what Liam Lawson did, and I'm sure he's not going to be bitter at all at him getting points and Alonso getting absolutely nothing from this weekend. But let's go through what's happening here. So what is the feud? How did it happen? Where do we go from here? Let's get into this. So basically this all started during the sprint race on Saturday in Austin. Liam Lawson dived down the inside of Alonso into turn 11, which is the left-hander before the main back straight. Some people might call it the hairpin, really. That's what people are referring to it as. And going down that straight is the main overtaking opportunity. And basically Lawson, in Alonso's eyes, was rather aggressive with that. The Aston Martin went off the track, and this is something we've seen a lot, particularly into turn 12, the following corner. Obviously Verstappen and Norris, that was another one as well. Already done a video going over that incident and the penalty and everything. Check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, Alonso basically tried to go down the inside, going to turn 12 at the end of the back straight, but Lawson blocked him basically. He stopped him from trying to overtake, which is his right to do. I haven't seen the onboard yet, but the stewards didn't take any action, and the stewards took a lot of action about overtaking manoeuvres really throughout the weekend. So if it was a bad one, then it probably would have been picked up really. And plus it's the first lap as well. Drivers generally get a bit of leniency on the first lap because there's a lot of overtakes, a lot of jockeying for position, you know, and very much the tension is turned up when it comes to that. But that didn't impress Alonso. Alonso was not very happy about that, and that's when his message came over the radio. Now, some people are saying that Alonso was probably a bit angered because it kind of triggered some memories when it came to 2022 when him and Lance Stroll, who were not teammates at the time, Alonso, I believe at that time, was driving for Alpine, could be wrong with that. But yeah, actually no, they were teammates during that time, sorry, my apologies. But yeah, they had a really nasty crash in 22, and maybe there's some memories of that. Maybe, I mean, a bit different really, I'd say, a very different incident, although they were in similar places on the track, there is that. But Alonso said this on the incident, he said, and I quote, "On the straight, I think we nearly crashed, like I did with Lance 2 years ago, at 300 kilometers an hour or something. And then the way he squeezed out of the corner to the track limits itself in lap 1 of 19, which was obviously the sprint race, a shortened race there." Now, Alonso said that he, quote, didn't want to make a big thing of it, but it seems like he's kind of taken it personally and made a big thing of it, to be honest. He's not particularly, I mean, he called him an idiot over the radio, which is quite a tough one, really. And I think as well, it probably annoyed Alonso a little bit more as well, because they ended up both losing a position to Esteban Ocon. So Lawson didn't even gain a position, and Alonso ended up losing 2, which again probably angered him a bit more, as you would expect, to be fair. After that, they didn't clash again. Alonso finished all the way down in 18th in the sprint, something like that. Really bad day. Really bad weekend for Aston Martin. And I feel like that as well is part of the reason for Alonso's anger, really, because they were shocking. Aston Martin were absolutely awful this weekend just gone in Austin. You know, Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso were absolutely nowhere. The car just had no pace whatsoever. It was never looking like it was going to get points in either event. So I feel like that, again, that rage has been channeled into Lawson. He's just basically trying to use Lawson as a bit of a punching bag, just like, oh, well, you know, could have got points if it wasn't for that Lawson kid. But in reality, that was never going to happen. Even when you've got a double world champion in that car, you really cannot rescue things even then. Aston Martin are going to be hoping things improve with Adrian Newey for 2025, because right now they are looking really bad. But what has Lawson said on this? Because he has to have responded to this, surely. Well, he has really, and he kind of went along with what I just said really there. He said, and I quote, "He had a pretty horrible race, so I can understand why he's upset. But you know, if I did anything wrong, I would have got a penalty." So yeah, which is kind of what my stance is really with that. If he did something, again, they're going to release the, I mean, I'm recording this on Tuesday morning. Formula One's going to release like the top 10 on boards or whatever from the weekend in Austin. I imagine there'll be some Lawson and Alonso action in there somewhere. So I'll see the onboard then and I'll fully judge. But to be honest, from what I can tell, if there was any question about it, because I don't think it was even investigated. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I don't remember seeing an investigation about it from the stewards. If there was any kind of shenanigans going on, then it would have come up in that. There would have been at least an investigation or some sort of like stewards have noted the incident between car 13, car 14, or whatever numbers they are these days. But like I said, Alonso, you know, he said they didn't want to make a big deal of it, but he kind of made a big deal of it during qualifying as well after that, because obviously we had the sprint race, then we had the qualifying. Alonso overtook the RB of Lawson coming out of the pit lane, which again, you know, you're allowed to do, but he was very aggressive when he was doing it. And Alonso said on the incident, what happened in qualifying? Well, because I had the scrub set of tyres, so I was not really into a time lap, so I didn't want to lose more time. And I think it didn't change too much for him, meaning Lawson. But yeah, today in the sprint, I think, yeah, we fought very hard, in my opinion, for 16th, 17th, but nothing we can do. Again, a bit disparaging comments, really, being like, oh, it's only 16th. Well, he did beat you, mate. He did finish ahead of you. And then Lawson said this, and he also said, I don't want to make a rivalry out of this, but later on he said he would screw me. And I guess he kept his word. I don't know. He was really upset. I'm not sure why. We're racing for P16 and I don't know why he was so upset. It is what it is. Hopefully he can get over it and we can move forward. That sounds like a you problem, mate. When asked what he discussed with Lawson in their chat after the sprint race, Alonso also said, that's between us. So he's not saying he didn't say it. Lawson said he would screw me comment was put to Alonso as well as in a question. He said, no, not really. Everyone is tracked and is behaving as he wants. And for me, today it was unnecessary. Everyone can have different opinions. I'm okay with that. You know, it's 24 races, so you meet somewhere in the journey. And they met in the first weekend twice. And if you'll notice as well, if you actually go back and watch the race, when Lawson overtook Alonso during the Grand Prix race on Sunday, they were really, really going at it. I mean, again, I noticed it at the time, but I didn't really connect the dots. Alonso was defending really aggressively, and within the bounds of, you know, rules and everything. I'm not accusing him of doing anything wrong, but he defended that position for all it was worth. He did everything he could, and Lawson made a really late lunge as well. I mean, it was fantastic racing. I love to see it, but you could tell there's a bit of needle in it between them two. They don't get on already. So yeah, we've got 5 races remaining in this season. I think there's going to be some sort of Alonso and Lawson battle at some point. And then we've also got next season too. Presumably Lawson's going to be in the RB, or at least in Formula 1 next season as well. And Alonso's going to be in the Aston Martin too. So yeah, that's kind of the rundown of what's going on, why there's a feud between the two of them. Basically, a difference of opinions really, right on track battling, and Alonso really seeming to take it personally. But that's what's happened, guys. For much more videos on the world of Formula 1, do keep it tuned here to the F1Chronicle.com. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you very soon, guys. Have a good one.